Here is the annotated bibliography formatting that I promised you. I started a new one for my classical argument. Some of you might find it what you did as your team annotated bibliography might be related to something that you might want to do on your own on a classical argument. So I picked up on that Roe v. Wade, which was struck down a couple of years ago, a couple of years back by the Supreme Court. It's been in place, actually it was 2023 because it was 50 years old. It was begun in 1973, and it was begun in Dallas, of all places. But I thought about that, and I thought about some of y'all being interested in that, so I went ahead and ran with it. So I started with, don't want to go into a whole lot of detail here, but my research question is, should Roe v. Wade be codified? Which means that it goes back to protecting women on a federal level, despite what the state their rules might be about having abortions. So I don't really want to get into that a whole lot, but I will say that once you have everything together, which you do, I do not, but just the beginning of your annotated bibliography is already formatted for you. So let's go ahead. As I told you, my download is up here for some reason. And then I have to go down here to Microsoft Word. It's much easier, I'm sure, on your computer. Okay, so remember what I did is I said I wanted you, oh, hold on just a minute. I think that I need to share this with you. Okay, so that's what popped up when I downloaded that from Noodle Tools. Remember, I went to print, export to Word, and this is what I got. So first thing I want to do is I want to go to my paragraph. Now, remember what I showed you earlier where it had those arrows over there? Mine doesn't have that. So I'm going, and maybe yours does, or maybe it doesn't, I'm not sure. But what you can do is I'm sorry, highlight all that, okay, and however much you have, and you go, and then you right click on paragraph, and it gives you the same information. Now, this one up here, you want to put left. Hopefully it looks more like the one at school where it has a little arrow thing you can click on up here, but nevertheless. Now this one, if you have this, and this was Microsoft for Apple that I got. So if you've got a Mac, probably yours looks like this. Put in there, don't add a space between paragraphs, because you'll see this weird, it's almost like a line, a complete line, but it's not. Let's go to 0.5 there. You'll see that, and that's what it is. You've put just like a fraction of a line in between, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so this unfortunately has taken us to another place. You see right here, this needs to go here because where the gray and the white meet, that's the 1-inch margin. So I need to take that over just a tad. And this is important because it has to align with everybody else's when you're putting them in the team annotated bibliography. Okay, so there we go. We've taken it there. So what we want to do, here's our page number. And so I'm going to say I'm a student, okay? So let me go there, and then I'm going to put Holland. That's my name. Well, I'll put my maiden name. How's that? Then it won't be as confusing. Chapman was my maiden name when I was in college. And I don't know what's wrong. I typed better back then, that's for sure. Chapman. Okay. space. Well, you need to put a space in between these. Okay. Yeah, don't write it in there. So then you want to do that. Now, we'll come to the title later, but there at the top, I'm going to put my name, Janine Chapman. Oh, and another thing I forgot to show you, where you're on that paragraph, and you can even do this on your own. We all have this. Make sure it's at double space and that says none. You could put hanging, but let's just do none for right now. All right, then you're going to put the name of the professor, spell professor correctly. Never misspell a professor's last name. Oh my. And this is English 1302.23201. And then we are doing this for Tuesday, which is the 18th. So I'm going to put 18 June 2024. Actually, if you want to say JUN, that's appropriate for MLA. All right, now I'm going to hit enter twice, so that makes 4 lines. Research question. Let's see. Should Roe v. Wade be codified, which means you make it part of the Constitution so it can't be struck down. So that's going to be a real challenge. Okay, and then my thesis is, got it over there. Let's see, Roe v. Wade. I actually said should and could. So I said both because I'm telling how it's going to be codified. And then if you go back over to my, I think one of the ways is by the Senate. The Senate votes on it. Another one is that we sway public opinion toward pressuring Congress to make a change. And let's see, what's the other one? I can't remember, but I'll go back at the end and show you what it is. So you're going to write that, you're going to finish it, then you're going to hit enter twice, remember, because I want 4 lines. So where it says works cited, I'm going to say codifying Roe v. Wade. Okay. Now I got some extra things in there. So there's really no reason to have works cited there. All right. So now I've got the top done. Now I told you when you're doing the team, well, actually, y'all can copy and paste all this to your own. The only thing you're going to have to change is this and this, but everything else should be the same. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and put this, so all of the rest, I'm going to go to paragraph, will have hanging indent, and that's very, very important. You put hanging, that means that it's the reverse of a paragraph. It means that the indentation is below the first line, not above. Okay, so it needs to look like that. Well, you're looking at it and saying, you know what, Janine, you put the same thing twice. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I'm guilty. So I'm going to take one of them out. Just make sure it's that. I just needed to kind of work with 2. All right, so notice that through this, there are no extra lines between text, okay? There's no extra lines between any of these. There's no extra line between that and the next entry. There's nothing. The only time you have 4 lines is there and there. And that's part of what you want to do when you get on and actually look at each other's papers. Make sure that their spacing is correct, okay? And the beauty of all of this, and unless you go in and you move things around on Noodle Tools, you don't really have to worry about your I can't say it, alphabetizing your sources, because it will do it for you. It's already pretty much formatted it for you anyway. In fact, it's already in the proper format. You can recheck it, but it should have 1-inch margins all around, on the left, right, up, at the top, and at the bottom. It should have all of that. And it should be double spaced. And if these are not hanging indented, then you just, now don't do the title. You don't want to do that. Okay, but I don't think it makes any difference, but just don't do it. Again, the other way you get to paragraph, and I use this a lot because of this way my computer works, just make sure that it's hanging up here and it shows 5 inches. You know, remember your tabs are 5, well, that shows that. Okay, so you say okay. And there you go. And that's how you do an annotated bibliography.